Good evening. This is Kwararafa Television and News Hour. I am Joachim Dengana Peters. We begin with the headlines. Governor of Taraba State Agbokefas receives 5-year strategic revenue plan. Tinubu welcomes Nigeria's membership into World Energy Council. Plus, Army creates new divisions to boost combat operations. Now the news in full. The management of the Taraba State Internal Revenue Service has presented 5-year strategic revenue plan to Governor Agbokefas. The presentation took place during Executive Council meeting at the ESCO Chamber, Tiwa Danjuma Government House, Jalingo. Speaking, Governor Agbokefas reaffirmed his administration's commitment to strengthening internally generated revenue, describing a robust revenue system as critical to sustaining government programs, improving security, and reducing dependence on federal allocations. He commended the chairman and members of the board for their dedication and sacrifices they have made in repositioning the state's revenue administration. The governor maintained that he deliberately assembled experienced professionals to lead the revenue agency because of the important role it plays in the state's development, expressing satisfaction with the progress recorded so far. Earlier, the chairman of the Taraba State Board of Internal Revenue Service, retired General Jeremiah Aliu Faransa, said the board is the only agency legally empowered to collect revenue on behalf of the state. I recall that when the present board assumed office, Taraba ranked among the lowest states in the country in internally generated revenue. Faransa explained that the board discovered widespread leakages in the revenue collection system, with multiple individuals and agencies collecting revenue outside a coordinated framework. It exposed that strategic reforms introduced by the board have increased the state's monthly internally generated revenue. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC, Professor Natanwe Yitwada, has arrived Jalingo, Taraba State capital for an official visit. He arrived at the Danbaba Sunte Airport, Jalingo, where he was received by government and party officials ahead of his scheduled engagements. Details of his visit will be included in our subsequent bulletin. Now, national matters. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has welcomed Nigeria's formal admission as the newest national member committee of the World Energy Council. Tinubu described it as a proud moment for the countries and a strong vote of confidence in Nigeria's energy reforms and leadership role in Africa. He conveyed his felicitation in a statement signed Friday by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy Bayo Onanuga, titled President Tinubu welcomes Nigeria into World Energy Council, congratulates Chairman Abdulrazak Isa, CEO Bala Wunti, and the inaugural board. Tinubu described Isa as a distinguished patriot and trailblazing industrialist whose pioneering investment in indigenous refining and industry energy have opened a new frontier for Nigeria enterprise. It described Wunti as one of Nigeria's finest energy strategists and reform champion whose over 3 decades of exemplary service, defined by integrity and strategic vision, have been marked by landmark reforms that significantly enhanced national revenues and restored investors' confidence in Nigeria's energy sector. The Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Onyekachi Nwabohi, has come under criticism after saying Nigerians who rely on markets for food are lazy, as he urged citizens to embrace farming to tackle rising food prices. Nwabohi, who represents Ebonyi North Senatorial District, made the statement during an interview while defending the economic policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Responding to concerns over food inflation, and the rising cost of living, the senator said the government alone could not be held responsible for the prices of commodities in the market, arguing that citizens also had a role to play. 88 years after trade unions gained legal recognition in Nigeria, labor leaders have expressed concern over the worsening economic conditions confronting workers, saying rising inflation and the cost of living had eroded the value of workers' earnings. The labor leaders stated this at the Nigeria Rights of Workers Summit 2026 held in Brenin, Kebbi State to commemorate 88 years of workers' organization and true trade unionism in the country. Discussions at the event focused on workers' remuneration across the 36 states, local governments, and the private sector as participants raised concerns over inflation, rising living costs, workplace safety, discrimination, job insecurity, and the protection of casual and other non-traditional workers. Speaking on behalf of the President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, the Deputy President of the NLC, Adewale Adeyanju, identified the national minimum wage as one of the major challenges facing Nigeria workers. He said the current 70,000 naira minimum wage had been overtaken by economic realities, making it increasingly difficult for workers to meet their basic needs. The National Youth Service Corps has extended the commencement date for the 2026 Batch B Stream 2 orientation course in Sokoto and Niger States due to ongoing renovation works at the orientation camps. In a statement by the Director Information and Public Relations, Caroline Embu, on NYSC X handle, the NYSC management said the decision followed the continued rehabilitation of the camps by the respective state governments. Under the revised schedule, the orientation course will now commence August 12, 2026, while the code-off and swearing-in ceremony will take place August 14th. The closing ceremony has been fixed for Tuesday. The scheme advised all prospective Corps members posted to the two states to plan their journeys accordingly and avoid traveling at night. The Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Olakule Nafiu, wished all prospective Corps members safe journeys to their respective orientation camp as preparations continue for the exercise. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has raised concerns over suspicious credit into one of his private bank accounts, alleging that his confidentiality banking details may have been compromised. Atiku is the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, disclosed this in a statement signed by his Senior Special Assistant on Public Communication, Frank Shaibu. The statement said the transfers was made by an individual unknown to the former vice president with the narration, contribution electioneering campaign. According to the statement, the circumstances surrounding the transaction were deeply troubling as the account was strictly private and its details were not publicly available. Atiku said the alleged access to his banking information raised broad concerns about the protection of Nigerians' financial privacy. You're on to Kwararafa Television News. We'll be back in a distant time. Stay with us. Mission system hacking robot. Welcome back. The Nigerian Army has expanded its combat capability with the establishment of new divisions, formations, and units aimed at improving operational responsiveness to the country's evolving security challenges. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shoaibu, disclosed this during the graduation ceremony of soldiers who completed the Advanced Infantry Training Program, codenamed Exercise Restore Hope X, at the Nigerian Army Training Center, Kachia, Kaduna State. Shoaibu said the expansion followed the approval of President Bola Tinubu, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, as part of the ongoing restructuring of the Nigerian Army to strengthen its operational effectiveness. He noted that many of the graduating soldiers would form the nucleus of the newly established formations and units. The Army chiefs charged the soldiers to uphold professionalism, discipline, and operational excellence as they take up their new responsibilities. The Nigerian Army has graduated over 1,000 Special Forces troops from the 10th batch of its Advanced Infantry Training Program, charging them to uphold human rights and the rule of law while confronting terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other security threats across the country. A 6-month training conducted under Exercise Restore X at the Nigerian Army Training Center, Kachia, Kaduna State, is aimed at strengthening Army's counterinsurgency and counter-terrorism operations. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shoaibu, said the program had become a cornerstone of the Nigerian Army's post-basic training designed to produce a professional, combat-ready, and resilient force capable of addressing evolving security challenges. He noted that the graduation coincided with the Nigerian Army's ongoing force expansion and capability enhancement following President Bola Tinubu's approval for the establishment of additional visions, formations, and units. According to him, many of the graduating troops will serve as the foundation of the newly created formations. Shoaibu urged the soldiers to justify the investment made in their training by demonstrating professionalism, sound judgment, and dedication in the discharge of their duties. Now, entertainment singer Cynthia Morgan has weighed in into the ongoing feud involving music star Peter Okoye, popularly known as Mr. P, and his elder brother Jude Okoye, saying many artists endure emotional struggles behind the scenes before speaking out. Morgan shared her thoughts in an Instagram post where she reacted to comments describing Peter's emotions as destructive. The singer said artists are often conditioned to prioritize their careers above their personal lives, leaving them to suppress emotions stemming from love, grief, abuse, and pressure. Morgan added that many entertainers make enormous sacrifices to build careers admired by the public, noting that older artists face greater pressure because their public image was often built on mystery. Afrobeat singer David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, has called on political actors and residents of Osun states to ensure a peaceful governorship election, urging candidates to respect the decision of voters. Davido, in a post on his X handle, warned against violence, intimidation, and actions capable of disrupting peace in the state and ahead of the election. The singer urged the people of Osun to demonstrate their commitment to democracy and peaceful coexistence. Davido, who is a nephew of Governor Ademola Adeleke, also declared support for the governor's re-election bid. The singer's message came amid heightened political activities ahead of the Osun governorship election, with major contenders intensifying campaigns for the poll. The development followed his earlier appeal to governorship candidates, including Adeleke and the All Progressive Congress candidate Bola Oyebanji, to accept the verdict of the electorate. And now on sports, the Confederation of African Football has unanimously endorsed FIFA's joint statement acknowledging mistakes in the handling of the proposed FIFA Ford enterprise, while reaffirming its commitment to governance, transparency, and due process. The resolution was reached at a meeting of the CAF Executive Committee, which also unanimously reaffirmed its support for FIFA President Gianni Infantino. Recall that FIFA unveiled the proposed FIFA Forward enterprise and as a new FIFA-owned commercial subsidiary to manage its commercial and event operations, including the World Cup, and to raise $2 billion by selling minority stakes to investors. FIFA said the initiative was designed to increase funding for football development for its 211-member association, but it was later withdrawn after criticism of the consultation process. It drew criticism after concerns that FIFA's council membership associations were not adequately consulted during its development. Spanish champions Barcelona have cancelled their pre-season friendly against Moroccan club Etihad Raidi Tangier due to concerns surrounding the ongoing border crisis in Ceuta. The match was scheduled to take place in Tangier on August 15th as part of Barcelona's preparation for the new football season, but the club announced that it would no longer proceed. Barcelona said that the decision was taken because of the uncertainty surrounding the current circumstances. Although the club did not disclose the specific reason for the cancellation, reports indicate that the decision is linked to tension around Ceuta, a Spanish territory located on the North African coast bordering Morocco. English football chiefs have announced new safety rules covering bricks and concrete perimeter walls following the death of former Arsenal youth player Billy Viga. The Chichester City forward 21 died after suffering a brain injury in a match at Wingate and Finchley in North London in September 2025. It is believed the injury was caused when he collided with a concrete barrier. The Football Association carried out a safety review and has published new guidance for lower league clubs, which no longer permits solid brick, breeze blocks, concrete barriers around pitches. The ruling applies to clubs competing in the National League system for men and women National League. That's it on the news. Before we go, we'll look at the headlines once more. Governor Bukefas receives 5-year strategic revenue plan. Tinubu welcomes Nigeria membership into World Energy Council. We also brought to you the report that Army creates new divisions to boost combat operations. That is it on Kwararafa News Hour. On behalf of the production crew, Joachim Dengana, Pandaway Smanin. Have a nice time.